Hi everyone. So a couple of weeks after the Easter Congress, I actually played another event, St Albans Congress. St Albans is actually quite a nice place. I got to visit there when I was leaving because chess events last a long time. I was leaving at sort of 8 or 9, and it was a Friday or Saturday, but it was really busy. There were lots of pubs and restaurants and very lively place. It's a shame that I was too tired and had to go home and rest for the next day, but definitely seems like a really cool place to live. I even have an event, not a picture, not an event, to show just to sort of set the scenes because I understand that you only get to see the chessboard, you don't actually get to see what I see because I am literally traveling to these places and sitting down to play these events. This is where the event was held. This is the biggest event I think I've been to so far. There are about 200 players, so quite a lot for chess. And here I entered myself into the under 1900 section of the 42 players that played in my section, I was the 40th rated. But that didn't stop me, as we're going to see. This is probably one of my best events that I've played so far. The chess still needs improving, so there's definitely stuff to talk about. Don't worry, I didn't play perfect chess, and which is actually a good sign, I think, because it shows that there's room for me to improve, and it's quite instructional. I found at least how I need to improve and how I need to get better, because there were common mistakes that I've made in this event and that I have made before. It's just that I have been slowly ironing them out, and we can see compared to the event that I played just 2 weeks before how much better my chess is, hopefully. And this event is sort of my redemption if you've watched the last series on the Easter Congress. But anyway, enough of me rambling about. I have black in the first game. Let me hide the pictures, otherwise that'd be slightly awkward having to watch the picture in the entire game instead of the chess. I have white in the first game. My opponent actually plays knight f3 against me on move one, which I find completely interesting because obviously e4 and d5, e4 and d4 are the most played moves, and knight f3 is I think the third, and then c4. But as somebody who plays one knight f3 myself, it's actually interesting playing against what you play, and then trying to think of the most annoying setup that you face and how to really take it to your opponent. And I feel like I did that quite well this game. I played c5, sort of forcing him into an English setup, so he might want to transposed into a queen's pawn opening, like I often do, but keeping him in English territory because English I feel like is very good for black. G3, knight f6, bishop g2, and just pretty much copying him because the symmetrical English is very pleasant for black. So g6, c4, bishop g7, knight c3, and I think a really crucial move here, and what I think sort of dictated the game, is in this position back here. Really, if I was playing white, I don't think I'd reach this move order, but if I was playing this as white, I would have played d4 myself, because then you get the position I sort of get in reverse. I'll explain what that. It sounds a bit but this position I think for white is a lot more pleasant to play. You've taken control of the center. This is how I play it. But instead, because he brought his knight out, I get to do the same thing and strike in the center. I'm obviously down a tempo because I'm playing black. But after he takes, I take back. He castles, I castles. Uh, there's nothing really wrong with my position at all. My opponent plays the second most common move here, Queen b3. But I'm not a massive fan of this move. I'm not going to trade knights as well. I think this is a bad idea because you just open up his bishops and can improve his pieces, so there's no reason to take. And there's no reason really to defend my piece either. This just makes my structure look ugly. I mean, it's fine computer-wise, but I've just blocked in my bishop for no reason. Why do this? So just move my knight back, which I thought was reasonable. I think it's the most played move here. You can also play knight c7, but I didn't think about this in the game. Just pull my knight back. Also covers this pawn when my bishop, when my bishop comes out, so the pawn isn't attacked by the queen, which I thought was reasonable. He plays d3. I mean, he has to play this, otherwise this bishop is just not going to develop the entire game. And I play bishop e6 here, which isn't the most common played move. The most common played move is just knight c6, and this is sticking to opening principles, knights before bishops, because your knights pretty much are guaranteed to go to certain squares, whereas your bishops need to be a bit more flexible. But bishop e3 is not by any means a bad move. He could play queen a3 here, and this might be slightly awkward for me, and he can even win my bishop, but I'll just win a knight for it as well, and the game will continue. It's perfectly fine. But instead, he actually quite surprised me, and after playing queen b3, he then went back to d8, which now, seeing as we're playing a symmetrical English, and I was the one who got to play d5, and now he's repeated a move, I'm effectively white now. So this opening has worked out perfectly for me, and on move 10 I've already reached equality. Black might even be preferred just because it's a more pleasant position. I develop my knight now. He develops his bishop, which is reasonable. I mean, it's what he has to do. I bring my rook into the game. He moves his queen for a third time, also threatening this idea, and there's nothing really much I can do to stop it. I did think in the game maybe rook c1 was slightly inaccurate and I should have played this move, because then you can use this idea to sort of stop your bishop from falling, but it's not the end of the world and it's completely fine. It's better just to develop the other pieces rather than make some odd moves. Now here, I wanted to sort of take advantage of the fact that he's going to be spending the next few moves making this maneuver. And so I striked in the center straight away because I have all my pieces developed. They're all pretty much on the optimal squares. Only really this rook is out of the game, but it is completely fine there as well. So I just want to take advantage of the fact that he's a bit undeveloped. Also, his queen looks slightly misplaced here as well, so perhaps he'll be threatened by some tactics. He brought his knight in to attack my bishop. Now, this is a slight misunderstanding for me in the position, is that I immediately just brought the bishop back, and this is by all means a completely fine move. Black is still better, slightly. But the really testing move, and what I saw in the game, and I didn't play because I thought it was bad, but it's actually good for black. Because if you move your bishop this way, it seems that, oh, well, now he's just going to play e4, and I'm going to have to bring my bishop back, and what was the point? Or I can even put my bishop this way, and he can do the same thing, and I can bring my bishop back. This is actually good for black because these are now weaknesses, and this bishop is sort of cut off, and this position is an improvement, which is something I didn't understand. It's quite eye-opening to see. There's even some crazy lines in here. This is something I looked over with my coach, and there's some really cool stuff that you can do here with black. You can even no, this isn't the one. One sec. Yeah, you can even sacrifice a piece here. And this becomes really ugly for white to play, but I would never play this over the board because I didn't have the prep. But I guess if this is something I'm going to be playing against one knight of three, this could be an idea that I use in the future. And just to show you the trouble that white has, you now have to retreat the queen, and this pawn is under attack. So if you try to defend the pawn, then you have d2, and this is scary. If you try go this way, then you also have d2, and this is still scary. If you try move backwards, so d2 doesn't come with tempo, and I can just take this pawn, then the knight on c3 is attacked, the queen is attacked, and yeah, this just looks really terrible for white, and this is winning for black. So this would be a really cool idea to have this piece sacrifice, and perhaps I'll look into it into the future. And if you don't take the piece, by the way, in this position, if you play anything else, you're completely worse. It's like -4, so you have to accept this as white. But yeah, that was really cool to see. But instead I just brought my piece back, but now at least I know in the future. He brought his rook over, I took, and now I think he can just take back with the queen and we have a completely normal game. The game will continue. However, what he played next was a massive surprise, and it's like one of those moves where you feel like you've missed something because there's no way he should be able to play it. He played, oh sorry, spoiled it. He played knight ce4. Um, yeah, I don't know really what to say. I had to calculate this threat because he's threatening to attack my bishop, and then if I've moved my pawn, then there'll be a attack against my queen, and even because I only have two defenders and they have two attackers. But that doesn't matter because I can just take the pawn, and he has no time to play stuff like this because I can just take here, and now I'm up a rook. Or I could even take this one if I really wanted to, and I'm up a rook. And yeah, the game would be over. I mean, already it's pretty bad for him because he has to take the pawn because obviously that idea doesn't work, and now I just get to improve my position. I get to expand. It looks like I'm blocking my bishop. I'm not really, because once he moves back, then I'm going to bring my knight in, and this knight is a monster, so he pretty much is forced to take. Otherwise, the knight will just control the position. He takes, I take, and sort of just pausing after all of that madness, I'm up a clean pawn. Not only is it pawn, it's a really scary center pawn. It's threatening to promote. I've got my pieces behind it already. I have the bishop pair as well. This is just a really good position for black. He brings his knight back because his knight was just misplaced over there. I bring my bishop over. attacking the rook knight and threatening to pin it. And this is perhaps actually an oversight by me. This is a good idea. It's just that after he moves his knight back, there's an even stronger move than what I played. So what I played is completely fine. Rook e8. Game continues. I pinned the knight. This is good. But pretty much winning on this spot is just d3 because now white is so cramped and lacking space, and pretty much there are no moves to be made. If you play queen here, then I can bring my knight in. This is sort of the star move, the knight a4, because you can't defend this. I'm bringing my rook in, can't defend that. Yeah, it's game over. This is -6 already, despite only being up a pawn, which is yeah good for me. Have to have this. Um, and there's been lots of quotes in the past. I think I might even have mentioned this before. There's lots of quotes by old chess players and great grandmasters. But I think the most relevant and the best one, I think, for me has always been. I think it was, if I can remember, I think it was Aaron Nimzovich. It was past pawns are meant to be pushed. And since adopting that theory into my games, I feel like I've won my games a lot more than when I did before. And unfortunately, in this key moment, I ignored him, didn't push the pawn, and obviously just didn't win the game on the spot. But still, rook e8 is still a completely fine move. Black is still winning. He moved his queen in. I just attacked it, move it across. I can invert my rook now again. He moved his queen back. Here, I had the idea that I was going to be trapping his queen because his queen looks like it's not really got many squares. So I played d3, just setting this up so his queen can't come across this way. Notice how in the previous variation the queen was stuck on this side and it's a lot more trapped. This is still very good for black. He moves his pawn because I think he saw that his queen was getting trapped with this bishop f1 move. I played bishop f1 anyway. He brings his queen back. And now I'm slightly unhappy with bishop f1 because now what is my bishop doing on f1? My rook is under attack, so I just bring my bishop back. And like this position, again, is so winning. You can really make pretty much any move here with black and everything's fine. Moved his queen back. Knight a4, again, a nice move, just sort of threatening to come in. He moves his queen forward just to defend against the square. But I get to play b5. I'm just gaining space. Yeah, white really has nothing to do. He moved his rook to the file. I could have taken here. Takes, and then bishop a6. I think this is just completely crushing as well. You can see. Oh, whoa. Where's that move? Yeah, something like this, and it's just pretty much game over. White is so trapped, and black has everything. Unfortunately, I didn't take, but again, this position is winning. You can do what you want. So I brought my bishop back. He took. And classic Callum, here we go. I've been talking about my position for 20 minutes, so you know what's about to happen. I just actually didn't think and just instantly retook with the queen. And if I even took a second to calculate, I made this move instantly. Bear in mind, I normally think about my moves. I spend at least 2 minutes on every move. And I just blundered my pawn that I had in the center. I mean, I get to win it back. I'm still up a pawn, but my lead is now not as good as it was before. Although my position is still dominating. This is still +3, but it went from +6 to +3. So yeah. And obviously, if I'd seen that this pawn was hanging, I would never have taken. I would just taken with the bishop, and the game continues. This is still a complete mess for him, but it is what it is. I took this way. I took like this. He brought his knight in. I brought my bishop back. He attacked my bishop, but this is tactically losing for him. Perhaps pause the video if you want and find the best move here for black. Again, all of the moves are really good for black just because it's such a good position. I feel like I'm repeating myself here and sort of setting myself up for what's about to happen next. Queen e8. He takes. I feel like this is the best practical try for him. Just give up the queen for the two pieces because, sorry, not to. I sort of went over it. It's the knight's attacked and the queen's attacked, so he has to give up something. He went like this. I just played h4, just making sure that I'm never getting checkmated in the back rank. And in hindsight, this is actually not a good move. Because yes, I'm avoiding checkmates, but now having spent at least 2 or 3 minutes on every move apart from the one where I blundered the pawn, I'm actually now in serious time trouble. And in this event, you only get 10 seconds to move. And what we're about to see is just unfortunate time troubles, to be honest. Not much else to say. Just bring my knight. You have to be really careful with this, so I just moved my king again just to avoid it once more. Bring my queen up. He attacks, I take, move my queen in, just a good position for my queen. He now attacks me, and here we see why pushing my pawns and doing all of this nonsense just didn't make sense. And now I've actually got to be careful because there are threats, because white is threatening checkmate. So I have to be a bit more careful. The computer way of doing this, I think, is something like queen e1 check or something, king h2, and then just bringing your king back. Oh yeah, this is something I talked to my coach about. If you just play king g7, white has nothing. And yeah, it's such a simple move to make in just defending the pawn. But for some reason, I was so fixated on these ideas, I just overlooked. Because what I was thinking about was this, but I feel like this loses, yeah, because this is threatened and this is actually lost for black. And in my time troubles, poor calculation, so I just pushed. He took anyway. I took, he took, and bring my king across, and just a double attack. I could have done this on the last move as well. Yes, again, poor moves is what happens when it comes to time trouble. So I'm not I'm not judging myself too badly because I was literally down to minutes. But if I'm down to minutes, then this is clearly an issue. I need to work on my time. But now both of his pieces are hanging. He defends one of them. I attack it with his bishop. He moves the bishop back, and now I block the defense with the knight. So the rook is under attack. He moves the rook over. And here I think I had about 20 seconds and perhaps pause the video and find one of probably 20 moves that win here for black. They're all really good, but some are more crushing than others. So the two best moves here are just one, again, king g7, you can't defend both, this is game over. Or queen takes the pawn, you're attacking the rook. The rook has to move, and then the knight hangs, and there's nothing you can do, and the game's over, and he probably would have resigned. Now, I came up with the same idea, which is to play queen d6. Now, pause the video and play the best move here for white. And yes, it's sad white has this move, but I genuinely don't actually blame myself for missing this because it's really hard to see what my opponent plays next. And if he doesn't play these moves, he is lost and has been lost, I guess, for ages. Well, yeah, the move here is to look for the checks. So bishop c2. And the only move here for all black is to play king g7. If you play over here, this is actually game over because you can't stop checkmate, which is, yeah, crazy to think. If you can't move up, this is check. The only other moves are blocking with the queen, I guess. So yeah, so hello? Yeah, my mic keeps cutting out randomly. I wonder why that is. I did that in the last video. Yeah, but king h6 loses the game, so luckily I didn't play that. But now, because I'm forced to king g7, which I couldn't calculate two moves before, there's a really nice move here, which is just forking. And I'm even lucky in some ways that my knight can take back. And this is now a draw, and we went on to draw this game. Which is sad and frustrating, but again, A, I'm black against a high rated opponent. B, I've shown that I could take it to them as very much winning. And very, all of my issues pretty much were about time and using time properly to spend time and not sort of hang the pawn in the center. And also time in terms of playing quickly enough so that I get to an end game and can actually play it. That being said, yeah, this was probably sort of the worst of the games I've played. I know I've set this tournament up to be really good and I've played really well. And I am pretty happy with how I played for the most part because these players are 200 points sorry to tire than me. But yeah, it is what it is and I can learn from this mistakes and hopefully moving forward I make these less and less and we'll gain more and more points. But yeah, anyway, cheers, thanks for watching.